Greetings! Let me see those hands again! Hell on now! Everybody jump!
You're tuned to Off the Ball, the most petty and ill-informed sports programme on radio. The week in Scottish football. The play you won't forget. Lose an hour, and our one-word topic is chocolate. I'm Ray Bradshaw, he's Tam Cowan, and you're tuned to the odd couple of Scottish football. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Ray Bradshaw, standing in for Stuart Cosgrove today, joined as ever by Tam Cowan. Tam, you doing good?
Yeah, I'm fine. And if you want to know what has happened to Stuart, he's been stood down in the back of last week's terracing teaser.
I saw that. It looked a tricky one.
Our listeners are absolutely brilliant. They are majestic. You can ask them anything. I never tire of praising them. But, we'll come to it much later on. But Stuart, it was left in his hands. I've had 8 days in my bed.
Yeah.
Which is a world record. As I say, one more day and Yoko Ono was going to jump in with me, right? It was a long time to
What's been up with you?
Flu.
Right, okay.
Or man flu, of course, because I've been 18 years married. How long have you been married?
5.
You'll still get sympathy then.
No, not really.
Like,
not that much.
Right.
No.
I know. 18 year. That's it. You can't be unwell. But no, it was absolutely horrendous. But I am going to. I think I did tell you this morning. In the back of a lovely lady whose name I didn't catch. I was doing in Dunoon last night doing a gig. This lady, hello. She is a nurse. She came in to say hello with her other half. After the show, and she said, Tam, I've been listening to you on that stage.
Yeah.
Your flu will have passed as such, but you still get something there in your chest.
The wheeziness kind of thing.
The wheeziness and having to have a wee good spit. Sorry if you're eating your lunch every 40 minutes or so. Vicks Vapo Rub. Now, I've heard all sorts of things that you can apparently put that in the soles of your feet and then wear a pair of bed socks, and then it's meant to work wonders during the night.
Never heard of that.
But she says, rub it in your chest, the old-fashioned way, rub it in your back, put a T-shirt on, and one sleep, and it'll draw everything out. So that is my Saturday night.
And that's what you've got to look forward to.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, because Stuart is obviously on holiday because he can't be this close at his age to someone else.
He can't. No,
so
I've
got to go that far away.
Exactly. I've got to sit here wearing a mask and all the rest of it, you know.
So, if you got 8-9 days of your bed, did you catch the Scotland game on Tuesday? Because that would have made you feel better, I'm sure. It was brutal.
Well, what's made it all these tickets that have become available because with the Scotland fans booing the national anthem with Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Apparently the Northern Ireland are going to post date a hate crime complaint.
Right, okay, so they're going to get it for next week.
And the Scotland fans will all be in jail and then first, and then all these tickets. So if you were looking for any tickets for Euro 2024,
that's the place to get them.
Loads of them are going to come available. And the game was poor, eh?
I was there. It was the flattest I've seen Hampden in a long, even right from the start. Even from the anthems onwards, it just didn't feel like, because up until kind of from the Israel game, which was post-COVID, the one that Scott McTominay scored the last minute goal, since then the atmosphere at Hampden's been incredible. But I don't want to say it, but Tuesday night reminded me kind of Bertie Votesy a little bit.
And even Stevie Clark, and again, for the very, very outset, we've not been two-faced about that man at all on this show. He was the guy that every man in his dug wanted as manager, and ever since he got appointed, certainly me and Stuart have said, let him pick who he wants. Don't start trying to pick his team for him. He is the man for the job. I still absolutely back him. But even Stevie, I think, was scrabbling about there, and he said, the real stuff starts in the summer, you know.
He said that.
But on that note, for him dismissing that as a meaningless kickabout, a training session, whatever you want to call it, how much did you tell me the tickets were?
35 quid. 35 quid, yeah. And that's kind of the norm just now.
£35 for a friendly.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of goodwill around the Scotland team. Obviously, it's 7 games without a win, but in that time we've played 4 of the world's top 8. So you can kind of get rid of them. Northern Ireland was the first one where it was like, not that good. So we were 40 places above them. We didn't really lay a glove on them in the first half. We were lucky to go in 1-0 down, I think, at half time. Nathan Patterson looked absolutely bereft of confidence. And he's a guy, you've got to remember, who's not been playing for Everton that much. I think he's got 9 competitive minutes this calendar year. Aaron Hickey's a big loss. But it was telling to me that I saw where I was sitting. Tony Ralston warmed up in front of me for about 60 minutes and he didn't get a sniff of the game, which obviously shows that Steve Clarke thinks it's going to be Hickey and then Patterson. There's no point. Because that's the one thing about Steve Clarke is he doesn't hand out caps willy-nilly. You can see that. You have to properly earn them under him. The one thing that I'd think was...
What's your take on Lewis Ferguson then?
I found it odd.
Second half again, he got introduced.
Yeah, so he came on after about 30 minutes when Andy Robertson went off injured. I found it very odd that he didn't start either of the games. There was a good debate in Sportsound about how Scotland have got the 6 midfielders, so it's the 4 that played the other night, so it's Gilmore, McTominay, McGinn and Christie, and then it's Ferguson and Callum McGregor. That's your 6. Where do they rank based on that? But Lewis Ferguson, he's having a great season.
I know.
He's a foreign player, and you can say the same about McGinn and McTominay, both having good seasons. So Christie's been
and you get the feeling as well that Lewis Ferguson, because we're the best one in the world, it's not everybody that would have been tapping in to his exploits in the continent.
Yes, yeah.
Getting out their way
You'd
to
hope
watch
Steve
these
Clarke would,
games
though.
on Eurosport. But what I'm saying is, for the Scotland fans at large, and I'd include myself in that, we're all thinking, this guy Lewis Ferguson, can't wait to see him.
Yeah.
So he's the guy you want to see maybe for the start in a game, you know. But incidentally, talking to the ticket price for the game, a friendly 35 quid. You were shocked this morning. I only heard this because I was watching it in the telly. You were at the game. And this could have maybe, if they'd have got rid of this, it could have maybe helped them bring the prices down for the tickets. But they had VAR.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
For a friendly.
Wasn't used in the whole game. I came home, I watched the England highlights, and I saw they'd got a goal chopped off for VAR. And I don't know whether that's now a UEFA thing where you have to have it every international game. Maybe that's a requirement, but for friendlies, you would think.
Well, see, unless it was an absolute 100% requirement that, if it's an international game at UEFA level, under the auspices of that governing body, but it was a friendly.
You wonder.
Surely heads can get knocked together saying, why are we spending this money on a system that everybody knows is really expensive when nobody is going to, I mean, here we are, 4 or 5 days after the game. You're struggling to think anything that happened in it. It was a friendly.
The only thing, John McGinn went down from a slight push in the box. And I remember messaging, you know how sometimes if you're at a game where you can't see it but the game's on the telly, you message your mates who are watching it on the telly going, is that a penalty? And they're like, no, it's a soft thing.
By the way, we must say, at risk of sounding two-faced, we did check VAR just a few minutes ago, and Aberdeen do not have a manager, right? So what's going on there? For my sick bed, I thought I was thinking it was going to be Michael O'Neill.
Yeah, so that
and
was.
Then I was convinced it was going to be Michael O'Neill because if we salute Northern Ireland, fair play to them, we might have had 80% possession, but they won the game.
They were really good in the first half.
For Michael O'Neill.
Yeah.
Already highly thought of. And you know how it worked. If Scotland had gone out and pumped Northern Ireland 5-0 the other night, they'd have been quite rightly. They'd been a lot of Aberdeen fans saying, right, don't touch him with a barge pole.
Yeah.
But I thought he was shooty in.
It's going to be interesting actually to chat to, because we've got a guest coming in soon. One of our guests is a journalist, so it'll be interesting to ask him what he's heard about it, because last night I saw 2 tweets right above each other saying Aberdeen set to announce Michael O'Neill, and the tweet below it said Michael O'Neill has been ruled out of the Aberdeen job. So people don't seem to know, but Aberdeen fans, let us know what you think, because this is now 19-20 days without a manager. Yeah, because it'll be 3 weeks since Warnock stood down after that cup game.
And again, I think the answer to this is no. But is there any chance that they have the guy in position, and he said, I'll come in after the Ross County game.
That's 6-pointer. Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, because I always hate that. See, when a manager comes in, but they say I'll take over after the first game, but you can see them sitting in the stand and they've clearly picked a team. And it's that kind of, just tell the truth. I don't think they had a plan. Because if they've got, I think it was Warnock who wasn't fancying it, he stepped down 3 weeks down the line, including an international break, don't forget. You'd want a guy in to manage players and stuff like that.
Right, well, love us. Tell us, rather, first up in Scotland, give us your thoughts on that. Not Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1. Give us your take on the personnel. Who would you start with up front in the Euros?
Shankland. I would do Shankland, yeah. Just even when he came on Tuesday night. What was interesting was the one bit of atmosphere that came was when Shankland came on. You could feel a kind of little uprising.
And then that one kind of half chance,
And that kind of head thing as well at the end. It was he gets himself about. He's always in the positions, but
I'm the same. I would love to see him starting. And you know what? It is.
Do you know one thing that worried me from the game the other night was Andy Robertson went off and he changed to 4 at the back. which is something we've not done that lot often. But it just showed the absolute lack of wingers that we have in that squad.
Yep.
I was trying to think back to the last ones we had. It was like Ryan Fraser and James Forrest. Maybe we haven't played wingers in so long that we don't have a plan B, which is something that was slightly worrying the other night.
Right, well, what is your plan B? You watched the game the other night. You might have been at it. You maybe forked out 35 quid to go and see an international friendly. What would be your plan B after watching that? Any change you'd make? And again, the Aberdeen fans, let's hear from you. What have you heard? We had all sorts of rumours at the time. There was a lot of Aberdeen fans own up. At the time when Neil Warnock walked away, they were saying, "Oh, Michael O'Neill is in place.
Yeah.
That's just going to be announced imminently." It's not happened. What have you heard up in the Granite City? Give us your take. And lower league stuff.
Oh, this
week, silverware the day.
Yeah, it's
Graham.
exciting. So Falkirk on Alba 5:30. So they're playing Montrose. If they win the league. In the League 2, Steny can win the league. They're playing, who they playing? Dumbarton. So if they win there and Peterhead don't beat Clyde, we'll get potentially 2 league winners in what is this still March. But the big game for me of the whole weekend, there's 2. There's obviously the one in the Championship, which we'll talk about in a sec.
Yes.
But the one before that, Stranraer against Bonnie Rigrose. If you've listened to the show before, you'll know I've got a soft spot. It's where my dad's from. The kind of the team I always look out for. They are on 30 points. Bonnie Rigrose are also on 30 points. Clyde are behind them on 28 points. Stranraer's next 2 games are Bonnie Rigrose at home and Clyde away. I think if a club like Stranraer goes to the bottom and they get relegated, that could be big worrying times. They keep taking the lead and losing, so if ever there's a 6-9 pointer of a game, I think that's today down in Stranraer. And obviously the Championship game today.
Dundee United against Wraith. Right, if I was a Dundee United fan, if I was a Wraith Rovers fan, even one that perhaps didn't get a ticket because...
Well, yeah, what was that all about? What do you think about that?
And leave that stuff to the gruesome twosome, right? And even they've apparently come to their senses with that, right?
5%, innit?
You don't. The only thing I would say is, to be fair to Dundee United, you know, as their home game, they're wanting to get any advantage they can. When Alan Burrows made the bold move with that for us in the playoff against Rangers,
It worked.
It worked.
Yeah,
absolutely worked. This game is huge. I've always said that for all I bump my gums about certain cup final in the past, the Motherwell Rangers playoff was the biggest game in my life as a Motherwell fan, because if we'd have got relegated, who knows what would have happened next to the team, to the club, to the town. You know, let's be melodramatic about it. But by the same token, Dundee United need to get up out of that Championship. This is massive. So I certainly won't be having a go at Dundee United for trying to get as many of their fans in as possible. But in a totally selfish note, and having been royally entertained, particularly by Wraith Rovers this season, Friday night games, I would have loved... I watched the game, fast speed, last night. Ayr United against Airdrie. I would have loved that game to have been moved. But if you're a Dundee United fan or a Wraith Rovers fan, wow, this is like a cup final. And it's at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. And certainly it's a no-brainer, the hospitality side of things at Tannadice. They know only too well what I mean by that. I know how it works at Motherwell. So yeah, brilliant. 3 o'clock, huge game. But boy, I would have loved to have been able to watch that on the telly. What about, would this have been feasible? And if you're I want you to see this from the perspective of both sets of fans, Dundee United and Wraith Rovers, right? If they'd moved that to 5 o'clock,
I think that's a
got it live on the telly.
Good option, because I was going for the Falkirk game today. I think that would be, because it is the game of the weekend. It is. There's no doubt about that from the kind of glamour side of it. Maybe not the most dramatic game, but certainly right up at the top. They've been neck and neck all season. As a neutral, you want to be able to see it.
Absolutely,
you definitely want to be able to see it. And there's that kind of nice wee edge, the Dundee Fife edge to it as well.
It's got everything going for it.
Yeah.
And again, if it was moved to 5, and if, I don't know, if it was unable to go on BBC Scotland channel, the BBC Alpha or whatever, they like a wee tea time game. I'm sure they could have come to some arrangement. All I'm saying is, and if you disagree with us, give us a shout. For United fans and the Wraith Rovers fans, I don't think that would have upset their day. You'd have got a nice wee long lie the day. You could still have had a nice wee couple of hours in the pub, etc. And when the game finishes, given the geography of it all, it's not as if it's eating into your Saturday night.
No, the one caveat to that I would chuck in is I don't think whoever wins this game wins the league, because they've been dropping points left, right and centre, both teams. 6 or 7 games after this. So I think, it could still be kind of to
And I think, looking at your own team, Thistle, I think I'm going with the slitting each other's throats theory here. I think you're in the playoffs.
Yeah, we've had a honking run of form. Kind of came back again and won a couple of games at least. But what did we went 7, 8, 9 games in a row without winning and still stayed third the whole time, which just shows the championship this season. What I want to know is actually if you are going to a game today, if you get in touch, text us 90295 or email off the ball at bbc.co.uk. Let us know about where your team is, because sometimes by this kind of stage of the season, it's purgatory.
Yeah.
It seems in a lot of the leagues there's still a lot of things able to play for.
Exactly.
So we might have overlooked that. So let us know how close you are to your season being over, if it's already done. I think Edinburgh City's already relegated. They're the only one I can
50
think
years
of.
ago, if we'd been sitting here 50 years ago and it'd have been a big 18-team top division,
Yeah.
and it'd been all one, meaningless,
Yep.
dead rubbers, one after another.
From January
we
onwards,
don't
pretty
get
much.
that now.
No.
We don't get that now. The leagues are absolutely brilliant.
Even as many faults as the split has, it does keep things interesting. Because I was saying to you earlier, I was like, do you think Motherwell can look up now or look down? But you're still not 100% sure.
I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm looking up now.
Right, okay.
And I'm going
So
with
it's 5 points. 5 points to the playoff.
slitting argument as well. But again, when you see what happens today, St Johnstone, they've got home to Dundee. Today, and as we mentioned, Aberdeen, Ross County, loads of stuff can happen.
Yeah.
But anyhow, listen, all the stuff about today's football, the week's football, indeed. Give us your thought. We better crack on because we've got 3 other topics, a team of the week to talk about. Another one we're going with, and this is the back of our guest, and we'll get properly into his forthcoming production when we get him in the studio. But we're asking you the play that you won't forget. The play you won't forget. Now, Ray, we're going to be joined by boxing impresario. Is that the word?
Yeah, I wonder what word you'll go for. That's a good one.
Boxing and
Yeah,
darts. But my old pal Tommy Gilmore will be joining us, still synonymous with the St Andrews Sporting Club in Glasgow, the home of Scottish boxing. And there's a play coming up written by Jim Orr.
Jim Orr, yep, who wrote Bend It
He
Like
did all the
That
Bend
Back.
It. We had Jim on the show before, Bend It Like Bertie and all shows last. But he's basically doing the show. You've got some of the details here. Just give us a brief synopsis of it, then.
So it's a play all about the first fight he promoted that will get him
First world title fight.
First world title, yes, which was back in 30, 40 years ago. So we're going to get to chat to him about it. The play's coming up at the Webster's Theatre in April. So we wanted to ask people about a play you won't forget. Obviously, very few people get a play about themselves in their lifetime. So this one's all about a fight in, what have I got here, March 1992, Pat Clinton. But we'll get the man himself,
Play
Tommy,
that you
to tell
won't
us
forget.
more.
It might be one that you've watched on the telly. It might be one starting even with a nativity play.
You're a big theatre goer, aren't you? Because
I like a bit of theatre,
there's
yes.
a musical you've seen a million times.
Oh, it's Mamma Mia.
That was it. I remember you telling me that before. What was it?
I've seen Mamma Mia, let me think now, I'll get this right. I've seen it 5 times in Scotland and 4 times in Las Vegas.
Wow, okay. Could you recite it? Could you get most of the script now, or how are you?
Well, again, reciting it means that, put it this way, if we went to a karaoke bar tonight, I wouldn't need to look at that screen for an ABBA song, right? The lyrics would be there, but I just think it's brilliant, and I love, the reason I love a live theatre show is it's the talent, as I keep saying, in any walk of life. I don't care what as people can do, whether they can play the piano, whether they can paint a picture, but I just love talented people. I salute talented people, right? And see if you compare Mamma Mia, the ABBA stage show, to, and they're talented in their own right as actors and that, but you compare it to the movie, which I refuse to watch.
That was my next question
when
coming up.
When you see these people live on stage, wow. And it's a great, and who doesn't like to sing along to ABBA, you know? But so the play, in terms of one that I could recite, if there's the old adage of the referee gets injured, they bring on the line.
Yes, the fourth,
They have an extra official up the stand who could take over. I think I could be in standby for
Benny.
Mamma Mia.
To jump in and play Benny.
I could jump in there and play Guy or all the characters.
They get you at the audience, you're already wearing the gear, so
Exactly.
Just straight in.
But anyway, so that's one I don't know if I'll just give a brief my wee list here. The one that resonated with me from an early age. It was originally shown in that Strand Play for Today, the seminal 70s 80s series in BBC One. It was Abigail's Party.
Oh, I don't know that.
You don't know that?
No, I don't know.
Oh, it's a real cult play. And just watching that as a kid, it absolutely grabbed me. And there's a great scene in it where the actress Jacqueline, and then she's got a Polish surname, she played Victor Meldrew's neighbour, married to Angus Deaton, and One Foot in the
Yeah, I know who
Grave,
you mean. I know who you mean.
And
Yeah,
she's brilliant in Benidorm.
Yeah.
Fabulous actress. She's in it. And I just one scene it tickled pink, me and my wee sister, and we were kids watching, I swear. She's trying to resuscitate, no spoiler alerts here, trying to resuscitate the gentleman of the house who's had a heart attack. And while she's doing it and trying to CPR, she takes cramp. And it was just very, very funny watching this and the way she portrayed it. Just one of the things I'll never forget as a kid. Another one, The Mousetrap. Have you seen The Mousetrap?
Yeah, years ago.
Did you join the gang at the end?
No, what's that?
Oh, I saw it at the, where did I see it now? The Theatre Royal in Glasgow, about a year or two before COVID, and I'd always just been meaning to see it, right?
Yeah.
When I was down in London, I went to see it. Mousetrap, couldn't see it anywhere. And it was
Yeah, because that's
explained
where I
to
saw
me
it, yeah.
that the reason the Mousetrap had stopped, they'd put cats in next door. There's no need for it.
So bad it's
But anyway, so I saw it at the Theatre Royal. But at the end of it, right, so your classic whodunit, right? At the end of it, when they take their final bow, and it's almost worth going to see it just for us, the cast come back out, and they basically want you to join their gang and say, do not tell anybody who done it. Right?
Nice.
And, and it makes you feel you're part of the group, and you say, we want other people to come and see this. It's a legendary production, longest running, Guinness Book of Records, So they basically get you to take an oath that you won't say that it was a butler.
Have you seen any?
No, listen.
Have you seen any of the big ones? Like Hamilton's obviously in Scotland this week. Coming, I think it's at Playhouse Edinburgh, or I can't remember what theatre it's at in Edinburgh.
Close to seeing that last October. We were in London, and the three things that we did see, I still highly recommend him to is tuning in. Grease. Absolutely brilliant.
Just a classic,
and
innit?
Every song. Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, I remember you said that.
Out of this world, and more importantly, very true to the film.
Right, yeah.
And then with some songs added, right? Superb. And the guy that played Mrs. Doubt, outrageously good. And better still, I think, Back to the Future.
Oh,
astonishing to see that on stage.
Because we're not also all talking about the kind of big West End shows. That could be the play you won't forget, but we also want nativity shows. We want school musical stuff. The one that stands out for me, I was actually thinking about this earlier. It was a play called Our Lady of Perpetual Succour that one of my friends was in, and it was at the Tron in Glasgow, and it was just his kind of early intonation, and it was a National Theatre Scotland piece, I think. And I was watching it, I was like, this is really, really good. And lo and behold, 2 years later, the whole cast won an Olivier Award and travelled in. It was just like, I was right there right at the start, supporting one of my friends, Francis, and so good. But we want silly stories. We want anything like. Who were you in the nativity at school? I was a sheep.
I tended to think the nativity. I might be wrong here. Is that no more of an English school thing?
No,
I never did a nativity
so
play.
at Christmas, my son's nursery did the nativity, and he played the Australian guy. That was his role, the coveted role. So yeah, they were still doing it. So I don't know. I don't think it is hugely an English thing, but maybe I'm wrong. Let us know. Were you in a nativity show?
Right, but the play you won't forget. You could have been in it, you could have watched it, you could have seen it in the telly, anything at all you fancy. And we'll get Tommy Gilmore to plug the panties of his forthcoming production. Don't even know who plays Tommy in it.
No, I didn't read that, so we can find out from Tommy.
I'm looking at Tommy, I think, who would play him? I'll try to think of a big name. We'll see if we can get
when he comes in. Yeah.
We'll keep looking at him saying, who would it be that would play Tommy? Because this might transfer to the big screen.
Who'd play you?
Who'd play me?
Yeah.
Pauline Quirk, or the boy that played Harold Bishop in Neighbours, or the darts player Steve Bunting.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
There you go. It's the same ones I get all the time.
John Hartson and Liam Boyce for me. That's exactly who would play me.
Tam, my uncle looks like you. Let me stop you there. Is he a kind of slightly plump guy with grey balding hair and specs?
Glasses, yeah.
Oh, yes. I wonder how I guessed that. Anyway, the play you won't forget. That was the week that was all the football. We're also talking. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
And I'm dying to hear your answer on this. Clocks change, of course.
So they go forward tonight. Yes, at 1 a.m, innit? 1 a.m.
1 a.m.
Yeah.
And they go forward to 2
Yeah, I think that's the way it works. Your phone does it automatically now, so you don't need to think about it that much.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, somebody said to me this week, I thought it was quite clever. They said that you should forget all this British summertime and Greenwich Mean Time. They should call it oven clock correct time and oven clock 1 hour out time. That's the way folk normally gauge it. But you're effectively losing an hour's sleep, right? Tonight into tomorrow. And we're on tomorrow, so we need to have our wits about us. But you're losing an hour. So what we're going to ask you, give us the hour that you would lose from your life.
So what's the context? It would just disappear as if it didn't happen and everything would stop just before that hour
I'll give you a
start
good
again.
example. For me, it is the hour. STV, 13 years ago now, me and my dear friend Michelle McManus, 4 weeks we got.
The 4 weeks you won't forget.
4 weeks, but it was the hour, right? So that was the hour. But you know what? And even I was talking about it last night and I get 10 minutes out of it. You know what that's like, Ray? Anything that gives you a bit of material.
Oh, yeah.
Don't diss it.
Anything bad that happens.
Exactly.
A couple of minutes hindsight, you're like, yeah, that's the way
absolutely.
fine.
So I'm being a wee bit facetious there, but the hour, in our defence, we always say we were a bit unlucky. I don't know if I explained this to you. The 4 weeks that we were on, right? We had, remember, taking me back 13 years, I think we get beat 3-0. Scotland-Spain was on telly one night. We had to go head-to-head with it, right?
Yeah, I think the other game...
3-0, you remember?
We lost the game 3-2. Stephen Naismith scored. I think it might have been the other leg of that.
The final of the Great British Bake Off,
Back when it was
went
new.
head to head with 1 week as well. A murderer was revealed on River City. This is like who shot JR stuff.
You started off good, but now you're using River City
Well,
as an excuse.
but that's what we were up against. But no, as I say, you get 10 minutes taking the mickey out yourself.
Yeah.
I love that, you know. So, but an hour, we're asking you, you can take an hour way out of your life. Look back in your life, say, I'd love to just erase that hour.
Mine's just so easy. From minute 63 onwards in Dingwall last year, when we were 3-0 up, I'd just done a tweet about 3-0 up in aggregate, 1-0 in the day. I'd just done a tweet about how happy I was getting sunburnt down at the front. They get County get a contentious penalty for a handball. I think it was Brian Graham. And then a minute later, Ross Docherty passes the ball out the pitch, and then they go up and score again. So that hour onwards, which encapsulates extra time, penalties. In my head, if that game had stopped when we were 3-0 up, everything would be different.
Yeah,
this will be a top flight club. We wouldn't have had the financial issues that we had at the start of the season. Just announced, what was it? The Ross County game. And then the next day we announced £400,000 worth of losses, which maybe would have been absolved. We lost players like Kevin Holt, Ross Docherty, Kyle Turner just through financial reasons. So that hour made such a big difference to my football club that I would love to get rid of that. So any kind of other ones like that. It doesn't need to be football. It could be from personal life. It could be
anything in your life.
When you called a teacher mum at school, anything like that. That kind of thing that stuck with you all that time that you just love to erase, Men in Black style.
Right, okay. Right, you get the idea there. We're allowing you to chop an hour out of your life. Have a look back at your life and give us the hour you wish to get rid of. And just for a wee lusty one at the end that we quite like, a wee one-word topic, chocolate.
Yeah, so there's what the newspapers are reporting where there's a chocolate crisis. There's too many crises nowadays, isn't there?
Crises?
Crises?
CRISES, I think it is.
Crises.
Easter chocolate crisis. Front page of the Scottish Sun. Chalky horror. Now, maybe it's not a crisis, but that's not a bad headline.
Yeah, I did think that as well.
Brits face shortage as prices soar. Bake Off threat to axe a TV special.
But see if you go in any supermarket. I was in Morrison's the other day. There's Easter eggs left, right and centre. So when's this crisis kicking in?
Exactly. But
the canteen upstairs is doing what is it? Cream eggs inside a coffee.
Aye, this is weird. Tell us who else thinks this is weird.
Yeah, we body swerved it, but
we did. You can apparently the spirit of Easter, and you can get a cup of coffee in the BBC canteen today. And what they'll do, if you so desire, they will mash up or grind up,
or just drop in maybe.
Egg
I think maybe just drop in like like a Jaeger bomb. Just drop it in and it'll just melt. I think, but it's not for me. But I think, Would you ever do that kind of thing?
I've told you about this hacking cough.
Yeah.
Right? Me and
cream egg goes flying.
We don't go together. We're not good bedfellows,
are you a chocolate fan though?
I've got great. You can ask me, chuck any chocolate bar at me and I'll give you my thoughts.
Right, let's go Twix.
A Twix. I was one of those people who ate it sensibly and never nibbled off the caramel and the chocolate at the top. Yeah. Those folk have got issues. Another one.
Bounty.
A Bounty, I was very partial to a Bounty, but always annoyed that it was very, very difficult to get the plain chocolate Bounty.
Oh.
Aye, which is,
Yeah.
I like a bit of plain chocolate. I can even take a bar of the Bourneville.
Oh no, that's a word
I'm
I've not
older
heard.
than you.
It's a word I've not heard in so
I'm
long
older
time
than
as
you.
well. Yeah,
You
yeah,
would
yeah.
tell me you don't like a bag of Oddfellows. That's an older thing when you suddenly dip into the world of plain chocolate.
What about a more complex one like a double decker? Where do you stand with that?
We're going to ask you if with your last bar, if the chocolate does run out and you're allowed one last
Yeah,
bar.
your
ladies
Desert
and
Island
gentlemen,
chocolate bitter.
and you hit it perfectly.
Is that what yours would be?
A double decker, I think, is magnificent.
Yeah, okay. Do you know what I like just now? Is it Marvelous Creations, the Dairy Milk one, which has got like the popping candy in it?
Oh,
So
yeah.
that I quite like that just now. That's maybe my go-to. But I'm not a huge chocolate. Like I wouldn't really eat a cream egg. Would you?
I don't like cream eggs, but I take a caramel egg.
Oh, okay.
Same concept,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
with that lovely soft
Yeah.
caramel in the centre.
So that's what we wanted. What does chocolate mean to you? And your kind of last desert island chocolate bar? What would you go to?
Outdoors chocolate bar.
Have you got an outdoor? Have you got an indoors?
I've got an outdoors.
Do you put them in the fridge then if it's indoors?
Ah, see, well-
no, not for me. No,
I like my chocolate in the fridge, but if this particular chocolate bar, i.e. a curly whirly,
Yep.
you can't eat that in the house because the minute you bend it or bite into it, there are fragments of
Yeah,
chocolate go
yeah.
everywhere.
It's-
No ideal if you've got a cream carpet.
It's worse. Or a flake. Have you ever?
Oh!
See when you get in a selection box, you
How do
just
you eat
open
a
it.
flake?
Just eat it straight in. What are you doing? You crumbling
Again,
it?
that's one that is much better for in the fridge, right? And then before you even think about unfurling the wrapper, you break it into 3 easy pieces. And then you open it and you just pick out the bit and then
Yeah.
it saves all the fragments.
You're tuned into Cooking with Tam Cowan.
I'm an expert in things like this. It's one of the
That's
few
one of
things
your
that I know.
go-tos.
So anyway, chocolate, one word subject. I'm dying to know, MD could go anywhere. Have you ever, I don't know, hey, the holidays are upon us. You
Yeah,
get...
'cause when you go to America, the chocolate's not as good. My brother lives in America. I know there's a Scottish shop that he goes to about 40 minutes away, which has your Dairy Milks, your Galaxies, Squares, Square Sausage, Tatty Scones, all that kind of stuff. So he goes there because I think the Hershey's and stuff doesn't really do it for him.
I know. And yet a lot of supermarkets here now, they've got their wee American section.
Yeah, the candy
And
bit.
I think, why does that lure folk in when traditionally you always think their
Yeah,
chocolate's
that's right,
minging?
yeah.
But anyhow, chocolate. Anything else about chocolate?
What bar would you bring back? One that maybe doesn't exist anymore. Maybe Topic. You don't really see a Topic anymore, do you?
They've stopped him.
Have they?
Discontinued. And I don't know why. What has a hazelnut in every bite? A squirrel's jobby. That was one of the primary school gags because that was the advert. What has a hazelnut in every bite? Topic, right? So that was one of the earliest jokes I remember. It was quite racy at the time.
Yeah.
Jobby and a joke.
Age 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
But, so, but if your last bar, your Desert Island chocolate bar, what is it you get in Desert Island Dish? You get the Bible,
8 songs of Bible.
the
You
complete
get
works of Shakespeare, and a
a luxury item and a
Luxury.
book you take yourself. Yeah.
right. If your luxury item was chocolate bar, what you take? What's yours? One only.
Oh, do you know what I quite like? I'd maybe go a big bag of chocolate buttons. I think I'd maybe go that nice and simple.
Sickly.
The bigger ones, the circle ones, or the ones with caramel in them. Maybe those ones. I think that might be mine. They're just good. You can use them in different situations as well. Like that's what I like about them.
What
Just sorry,
situations can you use chocolate
Just-
buttons in?
Well, leave it onto your own imagination, Tam. The football, you could take them to the cinema. That kind of stuff, obviously.
All right, okay. Good idea to take your own confectionery to the cinema, of course.
Yes.
We advocate that. Right, listen, that was the week that was. We've got Northern Ireland, Scotland. We've got Falkirk, Stenhouse Muir looking at titles. We've got, Dundee United against Raith Rovers. The Aberdeen manager, come on. Who can give us a bit of light on this? The play you won't forget. Tommy Gilmore will be joining us just shortly to tell us all about his upcoming play. He'll be joined by Graham McGarry of the Herald, who may have the answer in the Aberdeen man.
Yeah, that's what we're
Inside
hoping.
info.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
We've got as well losing an hour from your life. Just take any hour for your life in the past. I think I could eradicate that from my memory. What you going with? And chocolate is our one more topic, and we want to know your last ever chocolate bar. What's it going to be?
And we might as well chuck out the team of the week while we're here. I think, given our guest, obviously, we've got Tommy Gilmore about to come into the studio. We've gone for the Boxing 11.
The Boxing 11. And, this is one that has come up in the past. And I'll say, we've done that. When we did actually, I think we've done it once before. It just sounds as if we've done it. And it's because he, mainly Tommy Ring, who the off-the-ball legend, who would always get into there, of course. We've got Tommy Ring, another one's had you, the goalkeeper for us, Ray.
Yeah, Neville Southpaw.
Neville Southpaw works a treat. And we can ask Tommy Gilmore about this if Darren Bent would get in the... Because, of course, Tommy been involved in boxing. That's it. Oh, he's a gangster.
Yeah.
Tommy's one of the nicest men I've ever met. But if ever I said on my way to Tommy's boxing,
It's
gangster.
It's the insinuation, isn't it?
That's
Straight away,
right.
yeah.
Nightclub owners, anyhow.
I came up with a mascot for the team. It could be Don Kingsley.
Which
I thought that was
Don Kingsley.
Yeah, so
good.
any kind of ones like that. So you're tuned to Off the Ball on BBC Radio Scotland. Their topics are the week in Scottish football, the play you won't forget, lose an hour of your life in one word chocolate. The team of the week is the Boxing 11. And let's welcome to our guests Tommy Gilmore and Graham McGarry.
You whack ass rappers don't belong in the cypher. I'm coming out to slay y'all niggas, gotta pay the piper. You whack ass rappers don't belong in the cypher. I'm coming out to slay y'all niggas, gotta pay the piper. You whack ass rappers don't belong in the cypher. I'm coming out to slay y'all niggas, gotta pay the piper. You whack ass rappers don't belong in the cypher. I'm coming out to slay y'all niggas, gotta pay the piper.
The fear, because every night this week when I go to bed, my wife's been put on a boxing glove and knocking hell out of me while singing The Eye of the Tiger. I think we're going through a rocky patch. There's one for every occasion. I'm sorry, I'll never apologise for jokes.
It's just a shame that song now reminds you of the 118 advert as well, though, doesn't it?
Aye,
That's kind of been taken away
It's
from
a wee
that.
bit like that. I was a big and still am a big fan of Tony Christie, who's got his wee health issue just now, an absolutely brilliant singer. But I was a fan before Amarillo was
For
a
Peter
charity
Kay,
record
yeah.
with Peter Kay. And I hate it when that gets stolen from you.
Yeah.
And it's Amarillo's not even in my top 5 Tony Christie songs.
So
and I hated that.
I wasn't aware of Amarillo until Peter Kay did it.
See?
Yeah. So that's I
And
come from a different
do me
side.
a wee favour. I'll send you I'll make up a wee Spotify playlist for you, just
Yeah.
Tony Christie. What a voice. I think you'll like him. Tommy's brilliant, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now, Graham, we're going to start with Graham McGarry because the fact we had almost overlooked you, Graham, which was very, very rude of us. We're talking about Tommy's playing that. Whilst you walked into the studio, you said, I was enjoying the chocolate chat. So, we need to go right to you for a start.
Yeah.
What's that one bar you're taking in your desert island?
I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to say a bounty. And when I say this, people react just like Ray
Yeah,
reacted
because you're on
there.
a desert island, there's coconuts all